Hello, everybody. I'm back with you. I thought I was going to go get some breakfast, which I did, but the Seahawks had other plans for this morning. They have made a trade. They have acquired Saints speedster wide receiver Rashid Shaheed for a 4th and 5th round pick. I'm here to break it all down with you, and I've got a special guest to start, Matthew Paris of the Times-Picayune in New Orleans, who we spoke to earlier this year. And Matt, first of all, it's good to see you. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. I was out running doing an appointment when this broke, so I'm right there with you in terms of scrambling.
Yeah, that's life. That's life. Well, when we talked, Matt, in the preseason about these teams, and about potentially Shaheed being available, seemed like that was an unlikely outcome at the time. Now it's done, and I'm curious your reactions when you heard the deal was consummated.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to hand it to you. The first time I thought of, maybe the Saints could trade Rashid Shaheed was when I was on your show prior to the Seahawks game, and you mentioned them as a fit. And I think it makes a lot of sense for both teams. You know, the Saints were 1-8. Shaheed was going to be a free agent after the season. They were unlikely to re-sign him because, one, they would like to work out a long-term extension with Chris Olave. They've redone their wide receiver room here in the last couple months by trading for Devon Vele from Denver. They acquired Jalen Polk, who won't play this year, but they still have him on a future contract from New England. And so Shaheed was kind of the odd man out. And with their season going the way it was, you know, they liked him. They really liked him as a player, but uh, it made sense to kind of recoup assets. And then from a Seattle perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense. He obviously played under Klint Kubiak last year. It was really productive for him before he got hurt. And so it's just a matter of now, you know, can he actually help Seattle make that push that they want to make?
Yeah, tell folks that are not as familiar with him as a player, and then also him as a person. Who are they getting? Who's coming to Seattle?
Yeah, super nice guy. Very polite. Um, Comes from a family of, I think, track stars. It's kind of like they're all super fast. He's among the fastest players in the NFL. Like his touchdown catch he had this year was like the fastest touchdown reception so far this season. I think that's been since broken, but um, he can put on the Jets, and you really saw that with Klint Kubiak last year, the first few games. And he's not just fast; he has a real good sense for where the ball is. That's kind of what people highlight too, is just his tracking ability and being able to get that down. Now, sometimes it doesn't. Like this past game, he stopped because he couldn't locate the football, so he's not always going to be perfect. But I think he's a real dependable player of that deep threat. He showed that he could catch, you know, some intermediate stuff and do yards after the catch, but really you're bringing him in to be that complement to JSN and, you know, just really stretch the field and be that deep threat. And I think that's a useful role in Kubiak's offense.
Yeah, and last thing, Matt, and I'll let you get back onto your day. I'm sure you've got a lot to cover now too. Um, he did seem to have some success with Klint Kubiak last year. Obviously, he had some injuries, and so one, talk if you can share what you saw from him when he was paired with Klint Kubiak, and two, what were some of the injury issues, things to be kind of aware of there?
Yeah, he's a small receiver in general. He's not the biggest guy in the world, so that's kind of always going to be the concern with him. Um, he's like 5'11" or 6 feet and 180 pounds. Like he's not the tallest guy or the biggest guy. So he dealt, I believe, with an MCL was his season-ending injury last year. He went into this offseason fully recovered. He dropped some weight to try, or no, I'm sorry, he put on some weight to try and bulk up and have that balance of, um, you know, getting stronger but not losing his speed. And I don't think he's lost anything from a speed perspective. So I think that's been kind of successful for him as he's gone about here. But Klint Kubiak really loved using him on play action deep fakes. That's kind of the name of his game, is just putting him out in space, getting him down the field. And you will see a lot of teams now play too high coverage because they are going to be very aware of what he can do. He's been having a little bit slower of a season this year, I think in part because teams are so aware of what he can do. But, if he gets the look, like he had a 39-yard catch earlier this season off single high coverage. Like, if it's there, they'll take it. And I think Sam Darnold's a really aggressive quarterback. Klint Kubiak's an aggressive play caller. I think it's a really good fit.
Awesome. Matthew, super appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join us. If you ever need anything from me, you know where to find me. And hopefully those 4th and 5th round picks turn into something to help that Saints team. I'll say this. I was pretty impressed with what Spencer Rattler was doing earlier this year. I know Tyler Shuck is going to get some shots now, but hopefully things turn for the Saints, because the NFL is better when the Saints are a little bit better than they've been.
Yeah, we'll see. And the one thing we didn't really talk about is I thought it was fair competition. For Shaheed, giving up a 4th and a 5th, that's good value because New Orleans sent a 4th and a 7th to Denver for Vele, so you're able to get a little bit more for Shaheed, and I just thought it was a fair deal overall for both sides. But
Agreed on that. Matthew, appreciate it, and folks should check him out online and at the Times Picayune. Appreciate you, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, that is Matthew Paris. And guys, this is a trade obviously we've talked about for a while. And it's kind of Matt to give some credit here of talking about it early. It just always made sense. As soon as they made that Jalen Polk trade, I thought that was a clear sign that Rashid Shaheed was not going to be in their future plans, and they're just stockpiling some additional young selections, young receivers, so that they can move on from Rashid Shaheed. Now, let's get into some specifics about your new Seahawk. All right. So, first of all, Rashid Shaheed, let's just get into typical height, weight, that kind of stuff, speed. 40 times interesting. He didn't actually run the 40, but what I'm finding so far is a 4.3 40. He's also, as Matt mentioned, he's reached 22 miles per hour on the field, which is sizzling, and as one of the fastest players in the NFL. So let's just take a look at some of his statistics, as I often like to do, and give you an idea of kind of where he shined. So specifically last year, I'll do what I said. He is 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds. I've seen some places that he's a little shorter than 6 feet, like 5'10" or 5'11". He's 27 years old. He is in the last year of his contract. So the Seahawks will have a decision to make. One of the things to be aware of, yes, they gave up a 4th and a 5th round pick, but guess what? If they do let Rashid Shaheed walk and he signs what will probably be a pretty decent contract, they could get maybe a 3rd round comp, probably not, but I think a 4th round comp is pretty reasonable of what they could get for the type of contract he would command in the open market. So you might have traded a 4th and 5th round pick in 2026 for Rashid Shaheed and a 4th round pick in 2027, depending on how Seahawks handle their free agency and whether they spend more than they lose via free agency. So this might end up being essentially Rashid Shaheed for a 2026 5th round pick, essentially. Like they'll obviously lose the 4th, but they could recoup it the next year. The other thing, sorry, I'm getting all these texts. I'm trying to stay up with what's going on. Yep. All right. Nothing particularly new. So the part that I want to just get to quickly here, because my mind is, I was elsewhere. I was ready to take a nap, to be honest. But the thing that really stands out to me here, everyone's going to talk about what this does for the passing game. I think Matt hit on something there that is going to be really interesting. So everyone knows in the NFL, when Shaheed's out there, they're generally going to try to play 2 high safeties. They're going to try to have as much deep help as possible. What have the Seahawks been doing all season long? They're running heavy personnel. They're getting teams to add more players close to the box. A lot of times they are motioning to have a stack on one side, which is drawing another safety toward the line of scrimmage, and then they get a single high look. Well, now I think there's going to be teams that are like, we cannot do that. We cannot, with JSN and Rashid Shaheed and potentially Torrey Horton all in the field at the same time, we cannot walk a safety up. We have to keep two safeties back. What's that going to do? It's going to open up the run game. It's going to open up the run game. So as much as everyone's going to focus, everyone is going to focus on the impact of this to the pass attack, which it will have as well. I think there's a real chance that the surprising impact here will be in the run game. So look for him to basically force defenses to account for him, which is going to make the box counts easier for the offense to run the ball. I think that could be a big, big part of this move. Now, one of the other things I'm really curious about with Rashid Shaheed is this a rental or are they looking at him long-term? I just talked about it on Honk Blogger Mornings when I was on with Matt Hasselback. And this is a guy that makes sense for being part of your future. I said before, a trio of Shaheed, Horton, and JSN is perfect. It is great. Like the things that can do for your offense for the next 3+ years, it's really, really good. The only real question mark with Shaheed is health and durability. But you know what? Like that's just the reality. And I think part of the reason the Seahawks make this move is because they know that they cannot necessarily count on the ongoing health of Cooper Kupp or even Torrey Horton, who, despite the fact he's been playing all year, has had a few moments where he's banged up an ankle or he's still coming off that injury from last year. And if those guys start going down, it thins out a little bit. We don't know what's going on with Jake Bobo and his Achilles or Jariq Young and his hip. So this is a move that just gives the Seahawks peace of mind, but it's not just a depth move. I mean, Rashid Shaheed is too good to be sitting on the sidelines. That brings in questions of what does this mean for Cooper Kupp when he is back? What does this mean for Torrey Horton? I don't know. Like that was part of the reason I was a little skeptical this might end up going through, because I don't know exactly what the Seahawks are going to do with all of their players. Now, the most likely scenario is he will take Torrey Horton snaps. He will probably bump above Torrey Horton. I have some discomfort with the idea of a electric rookie who's having a really strong start to his rookie campaign losing playing time. That's not generally a good recipe for roster development, but let the best man win. So there's no doubt that they have done some good work here to add to that receiver room. Now, as far as what Rashid Shaheed has done this season, Rashid Shaheed has been targeted 66 times as 44 catches. Is that right? 44 catches, 499 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has an 87-yard touchdown, 87-yard play as well. He's averaging about 55 yards per game for the Saints. For folks that are curious, does he also do things on the ground? Is he an end-around kind of guy? Not a ton. So over his career, last year he had 6 carries for 29 yards. The year before that, he had 7 carries for 37 yards. The year before that, he had 4 carries for 57 yards. So he does do it, but it's not necessarily, the number one way that he gets used. One of the things to keep an eye on is I'm going to look back at the 2024 season and the first 2 games of the year when the Saints offense just absolutely blew up. Rashid Shaheed was a huge part of it. He had in the first game 3 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. In the second game, he had 4 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. He averaged over like almost 15 yards per target in the first game and 24 yards per target in the second game. So he defined explosive. He just was absolutely taking the top off of defenses. And then he got hurt. And he did come back. He missed a game. Then he came back. Next game after that, he had 8 catches for 83 yards. The game after that, he had 4 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. And then he got injured. So every game that he played, most of the game with Klint Kubiak, he had over 73 yards or more, and he had touchdowns in 3 of the 4 games. And now that we've seen Klint Kubiak and this offense this season, we know that what was happening in the first 2 games last year was not some weird aberration. He's a really good play caller. And so you get Rashid Shaheed matched up with a guy that knows exactly how he wants to use him. I was personally happy to hear from Matthew there that he's a good guy, nice person. Like, you're always happy to hear that, but that means Klint Kubiak, John Benton, the whole coaching staff knows him as well, signed off on this, and he's going to fit right into this locker room. So yeah, I mean, this is a move that if you are, look, think about it this way. The Rams just traded for a cornerback in Roger McCreary because their cornerback room has been a little thin and a little challenged. Guess what? Like, their chief competition for the division just gave them a lot to think about in terms of coverage. And so, yeah, I think this is in an arms race where you've seen the 49ers add Keon White as a pass rusher, which they really needed. You saw the Rams add a cornerback, which they really needed. The Seahawks added a wide receiver that they didn't really need. But I would put Rashid Shaheed as the best of the 3 players acquired in the NFC West so far. I like the Keon White move over time. I think that that's a really smart move for the 49ers. But yeah, I think Shaheed is a special player that the Seahawks just put on their roster. I'm looking over the course of his career. If you didn't know, he was a Pro Bowler in 2023. Let me check that out because I was not familiar with that. I might be as a kick returner. Let me do a quick as a returner. Yes. So in 2023, he made it as a returner. And let's take a look to see if he is still doing returns. So this year he has only 1 kick return, and he has been returning punts, 10 punt returns for 129 yards. When he was a Pro Bowler in 2023 and first team All Pro as a returner, he averaged 13.6 yards per return, had a touchdown of 76 yards. The next year, last year, he was averaging 16 yards per punt return. So this is a electric punt returner, and Torrey Horton's been that as well. But he does give you something in the return game. He has returned kicks, not as often. He hasn't really returned kicks since 2023, and even then, 18 kicks, average about 21 yards per return. So he has been a kick returner. That might be something that they think about using him there. Yeah, sorry. I've got to check my phone, make sure I'm not getting new reports that I need to pay attention to. So he does add something as a returner. And here's a tweet from Deontay Lee, who's been one of the kind of skeptics about the Seahawks, but he says, "Oh, now we're cooking in Seattle. JSN has established himself as a receiver. You have to tilt coverage towards, and now you have the perfect second option to punish defenses." So yeah, good stuff there from Deontay. Sorry, I'm going to see if I can get someone on the show. So yeah, really big move. And the fact that they traded a 4th and 5th, keep in mind the Saints were leaking just a day or so ago that they wanted a 3rd round pick for Rashid Shaheed. And I was like, yeah, good luck. There's no way you're getting a 3rd round pick for a guy on the last year of his deal. And so they don't. They get a 4th and a 5th. And you could not trade a 4th and a 5th to move up to the 3rd. They're not equivalent. And you have to assume the Seahawks are going to be picking towards the back half of this draft. So that 4th is going to be closer to a 5th, and that 5th is going to be closer to a 6th, if you follow my logic, right? End of the round. This is not top of the 5th, top of the 4th. This is going to be, they're going to have, hopefully, they actually have a very good record, and these picks are going to be toward the back end of both rounds. I see we've got a bunch of super chats. Let me start getting to those. Super Sauce XL says, who's been a member for 18 months. Love the move. Should get a good comp pick too. I think so. Really depends on what the Seahawks decide to do in terms of his contract next year. Do they go after him or do they let him walk? My guess at this second is that they will let him walk. And part of the calculation here is the compensatory pick they will receive when he signs a bigger deal. Corey Coleman, I believe this move is also a keep away from the Rams. That's interesting, Corey. I don't know if I agree. I think the Rams feel pretty good about their receiver room. Now, maybe Tutu Atwell going on IR. Maybe there's something there, but they got Jordan Whittington. They've got the guy, I forget his name, but there's another receiver, young receiver they've been playing a lot. I'm not sure that they're needing that, but maybe. Smokehawk says, love the second level thinking by John. Shaheed will be open. Let's try this again for Smokehawk. Love the second level thinking by John. Shaheed will open up JSN more and loosen up the box for the run game. That's exactly the way I see it. Richie Brash, been a member for 18 months, says, please tell me where the throwbacks. Tell me we wear the throwbacks again this year. I need to see Rashid running a streak in that blue immediately. Yeah, he would look amazing in that uniform. MJ Seahawk, I think this move says more about Kupp and Bobo's injury than a slight on Horton. I don't know if it says more about Kupp's current injury. It may just say the Seahawks' level of confidence about his durability for the long haul, which is just logical. But yeah, I don't want to count Cooper Kupp out yet. I really don't. And I think it would be a bummer if he loses too many snaps as a result of this. But we'll see how the cards fall in this one. Smokehack back again. It says, what's his contract situation? So he is in the last year of his deal. And let's see what the Seahawks will be. What the Seahawks will be picking up. So his salary this year, $4.2 million. His cap number is $2.1 million. So his base salary this year, I mean, I won't get into the specifics. I'm not a big cap guy, but the thing to pay attention to here is that the Seahawks will be picking up prorated portion of his salary. It will not be very much. I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks asked the Saints to pick up some more of his deal to up the draft compensation. In case you don't know what I mean, sometimes teams will pay money with the player that they traded so that they can get higher draft picks in return. So I wouldn't be surprised. This isn't a situation where it's a big number anyway, but perhaps, the Seahawks preserved some cap space or some cash spending by having that picked up elsewhere. So that's the contract situation. Kazra Solari. Let's try that again. Solari, I think that's probably how it's pronounced. Says, is Max Crosby next? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Max Crosby is going to get moved, but I didn't think Sauce Gardner was going to get moved, to be honest. And he did. 2 first-round picks plus Adonai Mitchell from the Colts go to the Jets for Sauce Gardner. One of the interesting things there is that the report was that the Saints were actually talking to another team about a cornerback until the deal broke down. And if that's true, you have to wonder if the Seahawks were the team they were talking to about Riq Woolen. And if that deal broke down, does that mean that another team is acquiring Woolen? Does that mean that the team decided that they just don't want to trade him? So obviously Riq Woolen was not going to get two first-round picks and AD Mitchell in return, but maybe it was Riq Woolen for AD Mitchell. That I could believe. So we'll see about that. Comment from our good pal C Mike Spin Move, his reaction: Seahawks play action game is elite versus 1 high, but falls to bottom third against 2 high. Shaheed supporting JSN challenges the coverage shell a lot more, also helps them be a more viable out of gun in general, which they haven't been. So I think that's a great comment from Griff, which is that you have to understand that one of the Seahawks, I wouldn't like weaknesses or like lack of strength areas, has been their pure drop back game. When teams know that they're going to pass, they haven't been as good. And I think part of the reason for that has been that you're not getting a lot of receivers creating a lot of separation outside of JSN, especially with Cooper Kupp. So there might be some situations where they're looking to have Shaheed on the field that is going to make it harder for defenses to take away JSN and make them a little bit more effective when they are in obvious passing situations, which they just haven't been as much this year. All right, we've got another super chat here. Let me get this one up there. No Kizzy, who's been a member for 4 months. Nice to meet you. I don't know if I've seen you on here before, but great to know that you've been a member. Appreciate the support. It says, what number is he going to wear? I hope it's not 22. Don't know. We will find out soon enough. Douglas Sears. Could Shaheed and Horton be on the field at the same time? Seems like a scary proposition, but I don't know ball enough to know if that makes sense. No, it's a great question, Douglas. I absolutely, they can absolutely be on the field at the same time. And you can have JSN, Shaheed, and Horton on the field at the same time. In fact, you may see that this weekend. And by the way, folks, if you don't have tickets to go see the game this weekend against Arizona and see Rashid Shaheed in his first game as a Seahawk, what are you doing? Like, what are we talking about? Like, go to hbtix.com. Sign up for, first of all, sign up at patreon.com/hawkblogger. You get ad-free audio of this show all the time. You get access to the Discord server, and you get verified over at hbtix.com. That's where you go to sell. Seahawks fans sell their tickets to other Seahawks fans. My son just bought tickets before the game last weekend to the Vikings game. Said he got a great deal there that his friends could not have afforded to go to a game unless they had HBTix as an option. I don't charge any fees. I just want to facilitate Seahawks fans selling to other Seahawks fans. And now this weekend is going to be lit. I mean, it's already going to be exciting after the big win on Sunday Night Football. You're going to see Rashid Shaheed pull on a Seahawks uniform for the first time. Let's go. So head on over there and watch history get made with the Seahawks. All right. I think I've got some messages coming in that are getting my attention. All right. This is, let's see. All right. We've got a little bit from Ian Rapaport on this. So let me try to get this loaded so we can listen to this together. Give me a second while I get this set up. And we will react and listen to this as a crew. All right. So here we go. I'm going to put it on stage and hide it real quick. And let's listen. All right.
Yeah, one thing that we have seen
is
sort of how the market gets set, right? You saw Jacoby Myers go for a 4 and a 6, and if you're a team looking to trade a receiver or trade for a receiver, you're kind of like, all right, like this is basically what it's going to take. This is how the market gets set. So you see Jacoby Myers go for a 4 and a 6. You see Shaheed go for a 4 and a 5. And, you know, there are teams that can make mistakes in free agency. You can make mistakes at the trade deadline. You sort of wonder, like, how many of these things really pay off? Well, one way to know that a player is going to fit in a system is if you have literally the same offensive coordinator that he had the previous year. That's where Seattle is. They've been looking for a fast receiver. My understanding is this has always been the target. They know what Klint Kubiak and Rashid Shaheed can do. They know how he can take the top off of defense. And I get the sense they're looking pretty forward to it in Seattle over there.
No kidding, Mr. Rapaport. All that stuff makes sense, and all of it is why we've been talking about this trade for like 6 months. So, yeah, all of you folks that have been tuning in for a while know that this has been a target we've talked about for a long time. And yeah, I think this is this going to be the only move the Seahawks make? I don't know. I'm not convinced it is. And what else is out there? I certainly think, as I mentioned this morning, the biggest move that they could make would be for a pass rusher. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be looking at offensive line. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull any of those off. Jay Glazer has been talking about the Seahawks and how aggressive they're being. But it takes 2 to tango. And so if Sauce Gardner got traded, are we sure that Myles Garrett's not going to get traded? Are we sure that Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson are not going to get traded? It feels like Trey Hendrickson's going to get moved, right? It does, because you're getting the little leaks about, well, Diana Rossini is saying, well, they're still looking for a first round pick. Really? Like, they're not going to get a first round pick probably for him. Maybe they will, but I don't think they will. He's also injured, but that means that the door is open. And so it would make a lot of sense. Doesn't mean that the Bengals ever do anything, but it would make a lot of sense for the Bengals to move him. So that's one that I would say seems a little bit more likely to happen. We do have a nice tweet here. JSN has the eyes tweet, like something's happening. And Chris Olave quote tweeted him and said, "You got a great one, bro." So I feel a little bit bummed for Chris Olave, because you have to think that he was hoping that he was going to get reunited with JSN, that the two of them together would be amazing. And so now Olave's stuck with the Saints, which is not a fun place to be. He loses a good teammate and a really good player, and that guy's going to play with one of his good friends. So that's just the human side of it. That's got to be tough for Chris Olave. But I'm looking through here. The other part of this is roster spots. This is probably what nobody cares about right now, but it is the minutia that matters. Now that the Seahawks have added Rashid Shaheed, he will need to take a spot on the roster. The simple spot for that to be would be if they put Jake Bobo or Riq Young on IR. That buys them 4 weeks at least and a roster spot. If that's not what they do, then I don't know. Like, you're probably going to have to cut. Like, you're going to have to waive Jake Bobo or Riq Young, would be my thought. And beyond that, I guess you could have a situation where, let's say, someone else gets put on IR. Let's hope it's not Ernest Jones, but maybe it's Ernest Jones. Then you could buy some time with that. But, I mean, the difference is Rashid Shaheed and Jake Bobo and Riq Young are all very different players. They have different functions. So I don't know what that looks like roster construction wise to say goodbye to those guys. But we'll see. We will see. All right. Looks like we've got some more from NFL Network and Tom Pelissaro. Let's listen in to that. 1 second. Let me pull it up here so we can listen to it together. We'll see if there's anything interesting in this. All right. Are we all set here? I think we're all set. All right, let's listen to this. I have not listened to it. We will find out if there's anything worthwhile here. All right, here we go. This is the Insiders, Mike Garafolo, Tom Pelissaro, and Ian Rapaport.
Moments after this trade came down, we heard another one coming between the Seahawks and the Saints involving a wide receiver. What more can you tell us about Rashid Shaheed, Mike?
Yeah, Rashid Shaheed going to the Seahawks. Sources tell me, Tom, and Ian, I don't know how I got left off of that, but Rashid Shaheed is one. As a matter of fact, I just did a video for a Seattle, for Jason Puckett out there in Seattle. He's like, I can't use it. We were pre-taping it. I said, yes, I was alluding to the fact that they were going to trade for Rashid Shaheed, a huge addition to this offense. I mean, think about how good this offense looked the other night in Washington. Now you add a take the top off the defense type of guy, a guy that's got familiarity with Klint Kubiak, and Kubiak was able to unlock. Remember when early last season with Derek Carr, when this team was fully healthy, what a dynamic player he was. And he always seemed to do it at the time of the game where they badly needed something up top. Well, now you add that to this team. It's been hard enough to cover Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's going to be doubly hard to cover him at this point with this trade being added. Sam Darnold, electric the other night. This only makes things even better.
For Rashid Shaheed as well, the reunion with Klint Kubiak, he can step right in, be able to contribute immediately here. It's another aggressive move by general manager and John Schneider, who is always forward-thinking on these things. He's taken a bunch of big swings at skill position players and otherwise through the years here. The Seahawks right now, as one GM texted me the other night, look like they might be the best team in the NFL to add a legit speed threat, which is what Rashid Shaheed is, to the fully dimensional type of receiver they have in Jackson Smith and Jigba, to the veteran in Cooper Kupp, who they're optimistic is going to be back on the field soon. It is a bold stroke by a Seattle team that once again could potentially have more moves, although we are now under 3 hours to the trade deadline for anything else to get done.
Yeah, a 4th and a 5th round pick to the New Orleans Saints for Rashid Shaheed. According to sources telling us that. So a 4th and a 5th. The Saints were looking for a 3, so they wind up getting a 4th and a 5th in return.
We'll leave it there. Some interesting stuff. Yes, I always like hearing that there might be more moves. I love hearing that there's GMs texting the guys, the insiders, that the Seahawks might be the best team in football, because guess what? They might be. And the fact that the Saints wanted a 3rd and they got a 4th and a 5th. Keep in mind, Jakobi Meyers, who was traded as well from the Raiders to the Jaguars, was for a 4th and a 6th. So Shaheed was a little bit more expensive than that, but not significantly. And I would also say, again, a 6th round pick from the Raiders, who are going to have one of the worst records in football, will be towards the top of the 6th. The 5th round pick from the Seahawks should be toward the back of that round, which makes those picks not nearly as different as they might sound when you say a 4th versus a 5th, or a 5th versus a 6th. So, my gosh, think about the makeover that's happened in that receiver room in less than a year. You go from DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and JSN to JSN, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, and Rashid Shaheed. It's very, very different. And just think back to the offseason when there were people just panning the Seahawks and this idea that they would not be able to have enough weapons. And this is no offense to Robert Mays, because I have a ton of respect for but when Robert ranked the supporting cast for the Seahawks, like the offensive supporting cast, the absolute worst in the NFC, that wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago that was happening. So I don't think anybody would rank the Seahawks supporting cast as the worst in the NFC at this point. With this move, they're going to be right up there with the best. Like, keep in mind, we were just talking this morning with Matt Hasselback about how impossible JSN has been to cover, even when everybody knew he was the primary guy to go and take away. Now you've got one of the biggest deep threats the NFL has on the same field. It's going to be fun. Now, I'm really curious to see how quickly Sam Darnold can build chemistry with Shaheed. But keep in mind, Sam Darnold, the best deep thrower in the NFL. He was last year. And I'm going to do the check here now, but I'm pretty sure he is this year. So if we look at deep passing, Sam Darnold is tied for the most completions over 20 yards in the NFL with 20. He's completing over 70%, over 70% of his deep throws. He is averaging, he has 4 touchdowns, no picks. He has a nearly perfect 99.9 passer grade on passes over 20 yards. He has 15 big time throws. 46.9% of his deep throws are what they classify as big time throws. That is insane. That is insane. And he has 0 turnover worthy plays on those throws. So you add one of the best deep threats in the NFL with the best deep thrower, deep passer in the NFL. And by the way, Sam Darnold led the NFL last year in deep passing as well. So this is not just some kind of flash in the pan. This is who he is. I'm looking at Rashid Shaheed's grades here this year. I haven't looked at these, so I have no idea where he is. Rashid Shaheed, he has a 93.5 grade on passes over 20 yards. Unbelievable. And I'm looking, and guess who has a 99.9 grade? I didn't know this, actually, guys. I haven't spent time looking at this. Jackson Smith and Jigba. So the Seahawks have a 99.9 graded quarterback on passes over 20 yards. They have a 99.9 graded receiver on passes over 20 yards. And now, just for good measure, they've added a pedestrian 93.5 graded receiver. So I don't know that anybody is going to be having a better time throwing deep passes than Sam Darnold the rest of this year. Let's take a look at Rashid Shaheed's other grades as we have a chance, and we'll just look at overall. His overall grade this year, 66.9. His receiving grade is 70.3. Not a good run blocker. So if you want a little bit of a soft underbelly of this one, he's not a good run blocker. 32.4 grade as a run blocker. Slightly better last year, 54.8, but still not great. As far as PFF grades, for whatever they're worth, he's never been a huge PFF grade guy. He's been around 70 all the time in all his years. As a rookie, he was over 80, but since then he's been right around 70. So I'm looking back to last season and his first couple games. So his first 2 games with Klint Kubiak, he had a 73.8 grade and then an 85.5 grade. So he has had some big moments with Klint Kubiak again when he was on that team. All right, let me check super chats. I'm guessing I've got more since the last time we were here. And let's see. I'll just say we got a ton of people in chat. If you're new here, I just remind you, we have only a few simple rules. Keep the comments to football. Be kind to each other. Be kind to me and any of the guests. That's it. If you're going to talk crap or be a jerk, go somewhere else. If you're going to be friendly and talk football, you are welcome here. That's what we do here. All right. let's see, where are we? I lost track of all these super chats. All right. Okay, here is one from Gabriel Johnson. Going to the Rams game, Chris Warren. Am I going to the Rams game, Chris Warren tailgate? I don't know what that is. So no, I'm not planning on going to that. When I go to these games, I'm going as a reporter. So I don't drink that day. The road games, that is. I attend in the press box and all that stuff. So no, I'm not tailgating, but that sounds like fun. And Chris Warren was a great Seahawk. So hopefully that's what's going on. Sean McLeod says, is this signing or trade in this case to lighten the stacked box on Ken Walker and Charbonnet to force respect of the deep play action even more? Thanks for the coverage, B. Yeah, I think it's all those things. That's why it's a good move. I mean, they can use him however they want, and defenses are going to essentially have to decide, are we going to play more guys in coverage to make sure we're okay, or are we going to continue to stack the box to make sure the Seahawks can't run the ball? Because here's the thing. If the Seahawks start running the ball in an efficient way, it's game over. It is game over for the NFL, because Sam Darnold, it's not just that he has been elite in his accuracy, elite in deep throws, elite in getting rid of the ball quickly and sack avoidance, which has been a thing for him this year. He's been an elite decision maker. One of the things Matt Hasselbeck talked about this morning on the Hawk Blogger Morning Show then was, this guy is going to the line of scrimmage and he is just absolutely cooking defenses in terms of identifying what they're doing, making the right calls, hitting the right receiver in the right progression, and just taking defenses apart. And so what you're doing is giving Sam Darnold another stress point for defenses that's going to cause them to show their hand, and for Sam Darnold before the snap to know whether he's going to get the look that he wants to get, because defenses are going to have to declare themselves earlier and more obviously in this kind of situation when you've got this kind of weapon added to all the other weapons they've already got. So personally, I would love to see the run game start to get untracked, because I think it will really give this team a different dynamic. I think you're less likely to have turnovers. I think you're more likely to be able to finish games and keep in mind, we've talked about the Seahawks have trouble finishing games. They also want to stay aggressive. So they've been showing that lately. As much as I hated what went on in that Texans fourth quarter, I think it's worth understanding that they were putting on tape that they're going to continue to be aggressive even with a lead, so the defenses have to account for it. Well, yeah, now there could be situations where the Seahawks end up being so good at running the ball, which is probably hard to imagine right now, but I think that's possible. The defenses have to give up plays in the air, and I think the Seahawks are well equipped to take advantage of that. So it's all those things, Sean. Detail-oriented, Bobby, good to hear from you, man. He says, Brian, talk about Sam's footwork and how it's one of the keys on why he's doing so good. Last game, his footwork was out of this world good. Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. It was the first thing I noticed in his first OTA practice was how bad his footwork was. He had such happy feet. They were moving at a completely different clip than his upper body. His upper body and his lower body were not in sync. He seemed uncomfortable. He really, Drew Lock looked meaningfully better, more calm, more accurate, more confident. And that's part of why there was a lot of concern about how he looked initially. That is Sam Darnold. But it really changed over those few months. And some of that's gaining confidence in the offense. A lot of it, in my mind, is coaching from Andrew Janocko, Klint Kubiak, that whole crew on offense that have gotten, and Jordan Palmer as well. Give him some credit, who's worked with Sam Darnold for years. But this allows Sam Darnold to, his footwork allows him to be more accurate this year, to force fewer throws, to make better choices, and he's doing it at a very rapid pace. So yeah, his footwork, I think you could just show a picture of his footwork and most of the time you could know whether or not a good choice was made. I mean, it's really, really been a huge part of what's going right so far for him and the Seahawks. Daniel Bailey, I know it's a long shot, but I want us to move Bradford to nose tackle. Could you please plant the Bradford nose tackle idea in the coach's head by mentioning it? LOL. Daniel, super appreciate the super chat. I am not going to plant that idea in their head. That would not go over well for many reasons. But no, I don't think Anthony Bradford has any chance of being a nose tackle. And I think they have guys that they are comfortable with in that position. I'll also point out Anthony Bradford played really well against the Commanders. So I don't think they're needing to move him in that way. Kazra Solari, thank you for the super chat and thanks for becoming a member. Welcome to the crew. And then KCOZ11 with a little super chat there. Just, I think maybe a super thanks, or didn't realize what he wanted to ask, or she. So thanks for that. All right, let me check to see if there's any new news. You know, as soon as, another blockbuster. This is coming from Jay Glazer. Another blockbuster have finalized. Cowboys close to a trade for Jets defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. Now, this one is worth Jerry bragging about. My guess is this is the one he was talking about, the Jets just unloading. So if that's the case, then you do have to wonder if the Jets, are going to move some of their offensive linemen. That would be the thing to keep an eye on. So let's take a quick look again. We've talked about John Simpson a bit, but let's keep going here and turn our attention to what might be next. So the Jets offensive line, they have got, well, they're not going to trade Armand Membu. They're not going to trade Olu Fashanu, nor should they. Those are their starting tackles. They have Josh Myers at center. I don't think that's a guy that's worth making a trade for. He's just he's an average guy. He's not an upgrade. But they do have two other guys, John Simpson and Joe Tippmann. And to me, Joe Tippmann would be the one that would be interesting. Now, he's a second-round pick from a couple of years ago and was initially going to play center. He is now playing right guard. Now, his grade this year is not great. It's a 59.3, 57.1 pass block, 62.3 run block, but he's a pretty good athlete and I think could do okay in a zone scheme. In fact, what I'm looking at here, it doesn't show me that. Let me look a different way. We're going to look at run blocking grades for the Jets. All right. So Tippmann, his zone run blocking grade is 64.7. His gap is 59.1. So decent in both. John Simpson, the other guy who would definitely be more likely to be moved. He's a veteran. He is, as I said earlier, he is a gap scheme blocker. He's not a fast guy. So his gap scheme run blocking grade 67. His zone is 52.5. These things aren't the end all be all, but they're at least directionally useful to kind of know. And keep in mind, John Simpson he's 28, so he's still young, but he's 6'4", 330. He's just much more of a mauler. And so I don't think he's a great fit from a zone blocking perspective. If you look at him overall, he had a really nice year last year at a 77.3 overall grade. Much better run blocker in general than pass blocker. But most of the rest of his career has been a guy that's been graded below 60. So that does, again, not the end all be all, but just an indicator that this has not been an elite player. If you look at the contract situation, so obviously Tippmann's around for a while because he was just drafted in 2023. He's making very little money. John Simpson, I believe, is in the last year of his deal. Let me double check that here. Yes, this is the last year of John Simpson's deal. So, I mean, from an availability and a cost, John Simpson makes a lot of sense to move. From a fit for Seattle, I think that Joe Tippmann makes a lot more sense. He's also under team control for another year after this one. He's just 24. And he was drafted in the second round, so he wouldn't have a fifth-year option, but he's a guy that could make some sense if the Jets are. I mean, they just traded Sauce Gardner, who is a young player who's part like you'd think would be part of their future. Another guy or two to keep an eye on with the Jets: Will McDonald, the edge rusher, who I really like. Now, I don't know if he is a great fit because, from a run blocking perspective, from a run defense perspective, that's not his strength, but he is hell on wheels off the edge as a pass rusher. Guy I really liked coming out. And if we look at this year, he doesn't have terrific numbers. He's a good pass rusher, but that's pretty much all he is. The other one is Jermaine Johnson, who's coming off an injury from last year, but he could be available as an edge player as well. From there, who are some others? Jamian Sherwood is a linebacker who I think is a decent player. Wouldn't shock me if he was a guy that they make available. Let me check out his situation salary wise. So he's under contract for the next 2 years. But yeah, he does have, he is tradable. So Jamian Sherwood's 25 years old. He is someone at the linebacker spot that could make some sense for the Seahawks to check in on. I don't think the Jets or the Seahawks are going to go after Breece Hall. Like I don't understand why people keep bringing up running back for the Seahawks. I just don't see it. Who else? So the Jets have just traded their two highest priced salary cap guys in Quinnen Williams and Ahmad Gardner and Sauce Gardner. Quincy Williams is another linebacker. He is 29 years old, and this is the last year of his deal. So he's another name. Let's take a quick look at Quincy Williams. He just played in this last game against Cincinnati. He's been awful this year. I guess it's possible that he would be a guy that they'd go after, but certainly I have a higher what's the word? a higher opinion of Jamian Sherwood. Yes, forgive me guys. My brain's like barely working today. Other players on the Jets. I'm just looking at the Jets because clearly they're having a yard sale, man. All right. The Jets traded Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys, and it does not say what for yet. Oh, 2026 first round pick and more. 2026 first round pick. So give it to the Jets. I think this is smart. 3 first round picks that they've added Now, the thing I will say is there going to be players as good as Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner that they're going to get with those picks? I don't know, man. It's kind of that old meme. Like, let's trade Quinnen Williams for a first round pick who might turn out to be Quinnen Williams. Like, it's a crapshoot. And Quinnen Williams was a former first team All Pro. I don't know that those guys are easy to find. So, the Jets are getting the Cowboys first round pick, not the Packers. The Packers is one of the ones they got for Micah Parsons. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. Just double checking to see if there's any other news I've missed while I've been talking my head off here. love everyone tuning in. Over 10,000 folks tuning in. It's great to have you around. Unfortunately, none of my crew is able to join. They all have real jobs, so they can't just come on at the drop of a hat. And all right, yeah, sorry, I thought we might have some. I've seen all these texts coming through, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything for you guys. All right, what a day. What a day. So I'll repeat what I said this morning on my show before all this went down, which is the absolute blockbuster that the Seahawks, in my mind, would make would be for Myles Garrett. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But if the Seahawks really, really want to go crazy, that's the move. That's the move that you're just basically like, give us the trophy now, and the rest of you can just go home. And I wouldn't have said that 6 weeks ago, but I do think it's real now. If the Seahawks add Myles Garrett, it's game over for the NFL. Now, very unlikely to happen, but that's the move. Now, if they add Trey Hendrickson, I don't think it's game over for the NFL. I think it could be a really good move. I think it could have helped them a ton, but I don't necessarily believe that it's game over. If they add Max Crosby, I think that is closer to game over. I think it would certainly be an amazing move and probably put you in that category. But I'm just telling you, like, Myles Garrett to me he is on another level. And I just don't think there's anything an offense could do if they had Myles Garrett. Now, Crosby, great run defender and a great pass rusher, great teammate, high motor. No one would be sad to see that happen, at least in Seattle. I also just have a really hard time seeing the Raiders make that move. I just don't know how ownership could sign off on the season that they're having, how bad things are going, and then getting rid of the most popular player on the franchise. Like, I just don't see it. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, we'll see. We will see. I'm looking to see if there's anything else that dropped here. The players are all watching too. Here, let me pull this up. So you guys can see what I'm seeing. Riq Woolen has weighed in. We love Riq Woolen on this show. Let me share this with you guys, and you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, here we go. There is Riq Woolen's posted a GIF, if you're listening and not watching, of just watching his phone, watching things happen. And that could be because he's wondering if something's going to happen with him. Could be because he's just wondering to see what happens with all these other guys. But interesting, cornerback in his class, Sauce Gardner, traded for a couple first-round picks, and Riq Woolen has been the one that has been in trade rumors. So it would be very ironic if after all this, Riq Woolen stays right where he is and Sauce Gardner's the guy that gets moved. That would be kind of hilarious. Folks, if you haven't bought tickets to go to Nashville, like, come on. Great chance. It's going to be in a few weeks. It's the week after the Rams game. So it's like 3 weeks from now. You are going to get to go to one of the cooler cities, live music, great bar scene, all sorts of stuff. And for now, you're going to be able to go and buy tickets if you want to join us for a Real Hawk Talk Live. I will put the QR code up on the screen. The link is in the description of the video as well. And one of the cool things here is that this is going to be a small VIP event. We're going to do a live show for the first probably hour that we're there. And then going to be hanging out with tickets. Like, so you get this really cool VIP lounge. We'll do a live show in there. There's limited space. It's only going to be about 50 people that get to come to this. I'm going to be there. Evan, Dana, Jeff, Nathan, Derek, Josh, like the whole crew is going to be there. So tickets are now available. Get them while they last. They're going to go quickly. And you get a free drink and you get, hang out with us, take some pictures, all that cool stuff. You can use the QR code that's on the video, or you can simply click the link that's in the description of the video to get tickets for that. Also, if you haven't already, go to simplyseattle.com. Use promo code HawkBlogger15. Gets you 15% off the best Seattle sports gear you're going to find. That hat, this hat, right? 15% off, code HawkBlogger15. Seahawks gear, Kraken gear, Mariners gear, Huskies, whoever you love that's in Seattle sports, you can get at simplyseattle.com. Go to oh, sorry. There's new news coming in. So I'll get to that in a second. Download the Sleeper app. If you haven't already, get all your news updates, get real-time updates on your fantasy football, on whatever sports you follow. And for a limited time, get $20 off, $20 for free without making a deposit. And if you use promo code Hawks, you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. JKBoots.com/Hawkblogger. You got to add that URL as listed to get your own special promo code. You get your own special deal on the best boots you'll ever own. Washington-based company out there in Spokane, family-owned. And these are boots that will last. You will love them. They're a great gift for somebody else. They're a great gift for yourself. I love my JK boots. I don't even have to wear my orthotics for my arch support because these things are made so well. It takes them like 6 to 8 weeks by hand to make your boots for your feet, custom built, and they are awesome. Their YouTube channel has like 350,000 subscribers because people just want to watch them work with leather. So now you can get a special deal, jkboots.com/Hawkblogger to do it. All right. So we're getting some information from Jay Glazer that I'm trying to, it looks like, okay, wow. So for Quinnen Williams, the Cowboys are trading a 2026 second round pick, a 2027 first round pick, and former first round pick defensive tackle Mazi Smith, who has been a healthy scratch recently. So there's some Seahawks fans that were wondering if the Seahawks were going to make a move for Mazi Smith at nose tackle. That's no longer going to happen, it seems like. And the Jets piling up the draft picks. 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, another first-rounder for Quinnen Williams, plus a second-rounder, plus Mazi Smith. Good for them. I think you got to blow it up when it's going as badly as it is. Personally, I like Aaron Glenn. I think he's off to a decent start, even if the record doesn't reflect it. All right. Next. Let's check out some super chats. Kazra Solari, new member, says, unless it's Crosby or Garrett, I'd rather have Mafe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like, I mean, if you got a Jermaine Johnson or Will McDonald, I'd love to see that. I just don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think those guys are huge upgrades. And Boye Mafe, at least you know what you're getting, but who knows? We've got Hawk Doc 77, who's also become a new member. Welcome to the crew, man. Glad to have you. All right. Whew. Been trying to pull some people onto the show, but so far did not. If you missed my conversation with Matthew Paris of the New Orleans Time-Picayune, talking about the Rashid Shaheed deal, you can rewind to the beginning when I had Matt on. We talked about it. I see a good question here from Angry Bucket about Chase Young. I will say Chase Young has been playing pretty darn well this year. I know that the Saints feel like he is one of their more dynamic defenders. And as far as, I mean, he should be available. I'm pretty sure it's the last year of his deal. Let me check out Chase Young for the Saints. No, it's not the last year of his deal. He signed a 3-year contract. So he's signed through 2027. I don't know if that makes it less likely, though. That would be like kind of putting a ring on it, that they feel like this is a guy they want around. He is 26. I don't think about Chase Young as the big final move. He is tradable from a salary cap perspective. And he has been playing pretty well. So just to give you an idea, he's only played 4 games this year. And Chase Young. And he already has 3 sacks. 4 games, 3 sacks. Not bad. He's also got 13 pressures. He has got a 90.7 pass rush grade from PFF. That puts him at the 6th highest pass rush grade among all edge players. The only guys above him are Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, Will Anderson, Joey Bosa. He's got a higher pass rush grade than Trey Hendrickson or Danielle Hunter, for what it's worth. So, yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. I have to say I have this lasting impression of Chase Young when the 49ers traded for him, and he was putting in like half-ass effort for them in the playoffs. And I was like, oof, I don't want that guy on my team. So a little bit concerned about what kind of personality you're adding in that situation. But there's no question he's been playing at a really high level, and that might be worth a tire kick. I don't know. It really depends on the person more than the player in that situation. All right, we've got another super chat. Nate says, what would be your top 5 trade targets if you were to be Schneider for a day? I mean, 5's a lot, Nate. 5's a lot. I would say, like, it's a hard question to answer for a mind like mine, because I start getting into, well, what are you giving up? And is it based off of what is realistically possible? Is it based off of what would help the team the most? Is it based off of who's the best player? I mean, generally speaking, I've thought that the move that could probably add the most, like help them raise their floor the most, would be trading for a guy like Kevin Zeitler from Tennessee. Like, I think that guy could just plug and play and has done a lot of, have played a lot of meaningful football games, and you could just know what you're getting from him. Wyatt Teller, another option from Cleveland, could make some sense. So I think that's where you could probably raise your floor the most, because as much as I believe people are overly negative about Anthony Bradford relative to the reality of the rest of the NFL, and where the state of the guard market is, I still know that, you could potentially get an upgrade there and help yourself. So that would be one. And then I'll just stick with what I said before. The move that I think gives you a Super Bowl is Myles Garrett. If it takes you 3 first-round picks and Boye Mafe, how do you feel about that? I don't know. I mean, if it's 2 first-round picks, Boye Mafe and Riq Woolen, maybe. Like, I think that's not a crazy thing to offer for what's the best defensive player in the game. So I think those are the ones that kind of come to mind. Rashid Shaheed was already on that list, so they've already made a move for one of those guys. But yeah, there's a few others, but those are the ones that come to mind. Thanks for the super chat, man. The Eden fam says, I'm going to be my son's designated driver for the event in Nashville so he can pound some drinks with Evan. Looking forward to meeting the crew. I love that. And I'll put the QR code back up there for folks that want to get tickets to that event in Nashville. It's going to be great. Let's hope that we're talking about another trade today, maybe a Seahawks win on Sunday and a Seahawks win in LA. Nashville is going to be an absolute party if that happens. Can you imagine the Seahawks at 8-2, alone in first place, having conquered the Rams with fresh blood in the locker room? I mean, and then going up to play Tennessee, which you have to feel pretty good about your chances there. They're going to have to add an extra flight because people are going to want to go. Like, that's going to be, I've never been to Nashville, but it's one of the cities I've really wanted to visit. And by the way, Matt Hasselbeck hinted that he might crash the party. So it might even be much better guests than we're promising, but you never know. So I'm telling you, these tickets are limited. There's only about 50 and there's less than 50 now. Grab them while you can. We've got a new member, Nate. Nate, welcome to the crew, man. Appreciate you. And getting more text messages. The Jets have offers on the table for Breece Hall and Jermaine Johnson, reports Connor Hughes. So that Jermaine Johnson's one of those guys. And we'll keep an eye on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes like the 49ers or something like that. Sorry, keeping up with some other people. It's so great to see. We've got like 12,000 people. Good number, by the way, watching the show. It's so awesome that the Seahawks are worth this attention right now, because they are. They're that good. They put on that kind of performance, and everything points to them being a team that should be getting better. They played that game without Julian Love. They played that game without Cooper Kupp. They played that game without Rashid Shaheed. And we're still just getting to understand what this crew is going to be toward the end of the season. I think them with a running game, which if you've tuned in late, I think let's recap for a second. I said the Rashid Shaheed deal was one that everyone's going to focus on the passing game impact, and for good reason. But what really gets my attention is how this could affect the run game. Because what are you going to do? You have been walking an extra safety down when the Seahawks have heavy personnel on the field and they're moving to stack one side of the line of scrimmage, and you're getting single high looks that the Seahawks have been just killing. Now you're going to have Rashid Shaheed out there. There's just no way you're going to be able to willingly walk more a safety down. Like, you're going to have to stay in a too high shell. That's going to open up the run game. I think the Seahawks run game is going to benefit as much or more from the addition of Rashid Shaheed as anything else. And then beyond that, the other thing that's really helps with Rashid Shaheed is the Seahawks have not always been as productive when teams knew they were going to pass. Partially because, as much as I think Cooper Kupp's been a good addition, he's not getting a lot of great separation, and he isn't always winning in those moments. And having a guy like Rashid Shaheed really challenge too high looks with JSN on the other side, I think opens up a lot and gives Klint Kubiak a chess piece that he knows exactly how to use because he did it just last year. So yeah, I love it. Breece Hall has just tweeted an emoji, just paying attention to what's going on emoji. So yeah, crazy things going on. All right, I've got a question I've got to answer, so you guys hold on a second. Make sure, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. If you haven't left a 5-star review over on Apple Podcast, that would be super helpful. 5 stars only. If you're going to leave less than 5 stars, let me know why. And also 5-star on Spotify would be great as well. So let's see what the Seahawks have in their draft order, what they have left in draft picks for 2026. I want to double check this. All right. Let's look. No, that's not helpful. Give me a second, guys, while I try to find a good place to 2026 draft. So far, all right, I don't think we have all of this nailed down yet, but here's what I think we've got. So I think the Seahawks have a 1, 2, 3, and 6th round pick available, but I'm not positive. If somebody's got a link to a place that they know, I'm surprised that there's not an easy place for this to find out. But 2026 NFL draft picks by team. All right. I think this is right. Apologies for this taking a little longer, guys, but I'm just wanting to make sure I've got this correct. God dang it. There's really no place. This is something I found last year that was annoying. Tankathon is one spot, but I'm not sure. All right, let me see if I can find this. Find Seattle. 1, 2, a 3, and a 6th from Cleveland. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 6. I think that's all they've got because they don't have. They traded their 7th to Cleveland. Yeah, I think that's what I've got. So, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about while I'm mumbling to myself, I was just trying to make sure we knew which draft picks the Seahawks have. And that is what I have. Okay. It's a lot nicer when I can get one of the my buddies to come on with me so I can be doing stuff while they're talking, and not try to talk and look stuff up and read chat all at the same time. But you know what? I'll do my best. All right, there's some more super chats here. Let me get to those. Wow, I think some people maybe upgraded their memberships, which is great. Maybe Nate did. Brady Crimmins has become a member. Smokehawk has gifted 10 Hawk Blogger memberships. Ed Chan has gifted 10 Hawk Blogger. Actually, he's gifted 12 Hawk Blogger memberships. Lucky number 12 for Seahawks. So Ed and Chris, thank you for your generosity. Jack Callahan has become a YouTube member. It's great to have you, man. And just so you know, if you want one of these free gifted memberships, all you got to do is turn on gifting on your YouTube account. Google it if you don't know how to do that. And then like, subscribe, comment, watch. YouTube determines who gets these free memberships based on how engaged you are with the channel. So the more you are here, the more likely you are to get one of these free memberships. And if you get one, consider giving one. We're a pay it forward kind of community. We've given over $300,000 to charity over the years, and we give to each other as well. So consider paying it forward. Consider upgrading to being a club level member, because that will get you access to the Discord server where we hang out with all the Patreon members and everyone else. A lot of fun stuff. And I'm sure there's crazy stuff going on over there. I haven't even been able to be on Discord today. Isaiah Anderson joins as a YouTube member. So it's great having you here. And hopefully we'll see you all over there on the Discord channel as well. All right. Here's the thing, folks. I see someone asking, Keldrick Miller, how do I pay to join? So there is a link in the description of the video, if you want, that I have for how to join. And just because you asked, and it's probably been a while since I posted it, I will post this link as well right here. Put this on YouTube chat. That's the link to join on YouTube. And if you want to join on Patreon, patreon.com/hawkblogger is the way to do that. That gets you ad-free audio versions of every one of these podcasts. Also gets you access to the Discord channel. Also gets you verified over at hbtix.com. hbtix.com, that is the place to go for where Seahawks fans sell tickets to other Seahawks fans. You often get the best deals there, because Seahawks fans want to make sure their tickets are going to people that are going to be rooting on their team. I've given you some tools there so you can verify you're actually selling it to a Seahawks fan, and tools to make sure you're buying it from a reputable person. So make sure you read the instructions I have there, the best practices to help protect you and protect the Seahawks home field. All right. Tight end Jordan Murray worked out for the Seahawks today, per a league source, reporting Aaron Wilson. Why would a tight end be working out for them? I mean, Eric Saubert's on IR. So, I mean, I think Nick Callerup did an all right job in this game, but maybe they're worried that the Eric Saubert injury is more serious, and they need to add more tight end depth. So nothing big, but something to keep an eye on. The Jets asking price via Diana Rossini for Breece Hall as a third-round pick. Teams have yet to meet New York's ask with just over an hour until the deadline. Is it really almost? Oh my God. It is. Yeah. Crazy day for the Jets. Excuse me. Crazy day for the Jets. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I don't think it makes sense for me to shut this thing off and then come back and redo it again. And I think what I'm going to do is take a little bit of a break, come back here in a bit, and we'll keep this going. You guys can hang out, keep chatting, and we'll do kind of like I did for my free agency shows, the marathons I did on that, where we'll keep the show going, the stream going, and that'll let everyone just hang around. I will keep an eye on the news. I will be back in a little bit. I'm not going to go for that long, but I think we'll just keep it rolling for a little bit and see as new news comes out. I'll just be able to come here and talk to y'all about it. And we might be able to get some of the other guys to join depending on how long this goes. All right, folks. The Seahawks have traded for Rashid Shaheed, a 4th and a 5th round pick, in order to get him. Electric speed receiver, and a bunch of other moves have been made as well. But that is the big one for the Seahawks so far. All right, I'll be back with you in just a bit. Until then, hang out, enjoy. I will not put music on. If you want music, let me know. But I figure you guys can handle that yourselves. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm back. Hopefully that didn't freak you out if you've been listening to this background music for a little while. It's Brian Nemhauser at Hawk Blogger all over the place, and I'm here to talk to you about, to take you through the final 19 minutes until the trade deadline hits here, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And I know the news that you want to hear is the Panthers have signed DJ Dallas to their practice squad. The Seahawks have worked out a tight end for their practice squad. And of course, he hasn't made an appearance for a while. Finn would like to say hello. He is dying to see what the Seahawks do. But seriously, Seahawks have made a trade for Rashid Shaheed, speedy right wide receiver from the Saints, a target we've been talking about on this podcast since like March. Honestly, since Klint Kubiak got hired. And they traded a 2026 4th and 5th round pick, which leaves the Seahawks with only 4 picks in the 2026 draft. But it puts them in a position to have a very, very dangerous receiving room, and one that is well-rounded and versatile. And you've got a guy in Cooper Kupp who's one of the best run blockers in the NFL at the receiver position, and a great slot receiver. You've got JSN, who's pretty much the best receiver in football this year, who can do anything anywhere on the field. You've got Torrey Horton, one of the best rookie receivers on the field. Yes, Finn, I know. And you've now got Rashid Shaheed, one of the best deep threats on the field. As I said earlier, this is a move that not only helps the Seahawks passing a game, which you're going to focus on when you get a speed receiver, it is a move that could really help the run game, because it's going to make it very hard for teams to stack the box, move extra guys down. It's going to allow the Seahawks out of heavy personnel, even with 2 tight ends. They could have situations where they go 2 tight ends and 2 receivers, and those 2 receivers are Rashid Shaheed and JSN, and it's going to force a very tough decision for a defensive coordinator that could really be advantageous for the run game. Credit to Mina Kimes, who also has recognized what I think I'm recognizing, that this move could help the run game as much as it could help the pass game. So that's what's going on. We are seeing some, interesting reactions from different people. Some folks think that a 4th and a 5th round pick is a lot to pay for what is essentially a rental player. I don't feel that way. 4th and a 5th round pick are fine. This is not a great draft. The Seahawks have got some pretty valuable players in later rounds in past drafts. Sorry, Finn, I think you're going to have to take a seat. But this is a team that sees the potential that they could win the whole thing this year. And if you think that you can get someone that can help you win a Super Bowl for a 4th and a 5th round pick, that's not a hard choice. It's just not. So I'm not going to quibble over the cost of acquiring Rashid Shaheed. I also saw some reports from folks that are already saying the Seahawks acquired Rashid Shaheed with the intent to extend him. I don't think anybody knows that. Anyone that I've seen reporting it, I don't think that they have any idea about whether that's the case. And I would not assume that to be true. What I would assume to be true is what Brady Henderson's reported, and I've talked about before, is the Seahawks do not extend players that they trade for at this point. They've kind of made that a rule. John Schneider's talked about it. And that is a little bit of a reaction to what happened in the Percy Harvin deal, where it was an absolute disaster in the locker room, and they ended up having to jettison a player who was a really key part of that team in Golden Tate in order to accommodate the contract for Percy Harvin, and then ended up trading Percy Harvin anyway the next year. So it was just a disaster all the way around. So they're cautious that way. I don't think that in this case, this is like the Leonard Williams deal or the Ernest Jones deal or those others where they traded the player with an intent on keeping them for sure. I think this was a trade done with a likelihood. I think the most likely scenario is that Rashid Shaheed signs somewhere else. I'm not reporting that. I'm not saying someone's told me that. I believe, based off of the Seahawks' current roster and the places where they're going to have to spend their money, I'm not sure I see them spending what could be $40+ million a year on JSN plus, let's say 35 million. But I think it's going to be like the Jamar Chase deal. Let's pull that up real quick because I've forgotten where that comes in at. But if you're looking at the wide receiver position, it's not cheap. And Jamar Chase makes $40 million per year. So I was right. JSN's going to top that. He's going to top that. So I don't see them doing that and then signing another expensive free agent, especially one that's had some injury issues, especially while you also have a young up-and-coming receiver in Torrey Horton. I think most likely the Seahawks made this move with an eye on getting a comp pick in 2027, most likely in the 4th round. So this ends up being essentially a rental of Rashid Shaheed for this year, plus they give up a 4th and a 5th round pick next year and get a 4th round pick in 2027. That's kind of what I see happening here. Now, I'm not closing the door to the Seahawks signing Shaheed and extending him. I think it would make sense. I think he's great. I think that the 3 young receivers together and Shaheed and JSN and Torrey Horton could be awesome. But that's not the most likely outcome from what I see. So that's my read on it. And one of the other cool things that I talked about before is Sam Darnold is the best deep throwing quarterback in the game. Drake May's up there, but Sam Darnold's done it for multiple years, so I give him the nod. This guy has a 99.9 passing grade this year when passing over 20 yards. He's completing over 70% of those throws, which is insane. And then you've got JSN is a 99.9 graded receiver on deep passes over 20 yards. And you just added Rashid Shaheed, who has a 93.5 grade on passes over 20 yards. So this is a pretty special combination of talent that I think is very complementary across that room. I think it's going to give the Seahawks a lot more versatility, and I think it's going to give a lot of defenses even more headaches than they already have for an offense that is right now, what are they, 5th in the NFL in points scored? The Seahawks are 5th in points per game. They are 9th in yards per game. They are second in yards per play. I think another sneaky part of this that can be helpful is what's going to happen on 3rd down conversions. Seahawks are currently 22nd in the NFL in 3rd down conversions. They had a couple of really bad games that hurt them. They had been a top 10 team in 3rd down conversions before the Jacksonville game. They're 8th overall, and then they dropped down. But last week, they were back up again. And one of the things, as I pull up, that's been an issue is they've been toward the bottom of the NFL in 3rd and long. I haven't looked at this yet from the game this week, but I did make note when I was rewatching the game that the Seahawks seem to convert a couple of 3rd and long plays, at least one for a touchdown. So let me pull this up and we'll look up 3rd downs and we'll look up yards to go, 7 or more. And we'll see how the Seahawks are doing in that scenario. So they were towards the bottom of the NFL. They are still second to last in the NFL in that situation. Could have sworn they converted at least one of those this past week. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on one second. Okay. So looking at this against the Commanders, Seahawks. Maybe it wasn't. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, that's right. So in the second quarter, the 25-yard touchdown to Torrey Horton, the high looper, that was on a 3rd and 8. So they did convert one, but that has been an issue for them. They're second to last in the NFL in 3rd and long. This could be something that helps in that scenario as well. So we keep an eye out here as we head toward the end of the trade period in the NFL. And there's a lot of love for what the Seahawks have done. A lot of people commenting about what this means. I see some Arizona fans and some 49ers fans really wondering how they're gonna guard this team. Michael Thomas, former Saints receiver, tweeted out, Seattle has some hoopers, which they definitely do. Greg Rosenthal of the NFL, reporter for the NFL, says, I already thought the Seahawks were the best team in the NFC before adding one of the league's best deep threats in Rashid Shaheed. Nick Underhill, who covers the Saints, says, you already know Shaheed is going to be absolute fire in Seattle's offense. He knows the offense. He knows how to succeed in it. Rebuilding teams have to trade good players if the timeline doesn't meet up. Just facts. These moves are going to hurt, and they should hurt. So yeah, a couple ones there. We already talked about Chris Olave, quote tweeting JSN saying, you got a great one, bro. So that is just a little bit of what people are saying about this deal after the Seahawks just demolished the Commanders on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. I keep saying Monday Night Football. It's going to be huge. And let's listen to Louis Riddick, his comments on what this is going to look like for the Seahawks. Let me pull that up here in just a second. We can listen to that together. As we kind of wait for the deadline here in what is now 8 minutes, officially 8 minutes away. Let me share my screen and this and get it up on stage so we can hear it together. Oops. And here we go. This is first Adam Schefter talking about the deal, and then Louis Riddick kind of talking about analyzing what it means.
Who has Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's got Cooper Kupp, who's got double tight ends. Who's got Torrey Horton, the rookie that emerged on Sunday night again. Yeah. Was anybody expecting the Seahawks to add a deep threat like that to Sam Darnold's arsenal?
Yeah, I think, look, their GM, John Schneider, is all in right now. He realizes he's got a quarterback that it's not by accident that he is number 2 in total QBR, number 2 in CPOE, completion percentage above expected. Sam Darnold is playing out of his mind right now. And he's got 2 just stud tight ends, a running game that needs to get going. But right now, look, he has built this wide receiver room absolutely perfectly. Think of what JSN brings to him as far as a guy who can play inside and outside. Rashid is a vertical field stretcher. When Cooper comes back and he's healthy, he is one of the best slot receivers in the entire NFL. And then Torrey Horton as a youngster, now he's the guy who's a 3-tool player too. So this offense right now is able to deal with any team in the NFL in terms of pure firepower. But there is no question that Sam and the way he is playing is the driving force behind why now you feel comfortable just adding and picking and choosing pieces to kind of continue to add to this offense. They need to solidify the middle of this offensive line for sure and get the running game going because its yards per carry is not where it needs to be. Yeah. But wow, Seattle's loaded now.
Seattle's loaded now. Yeah, I'd say so. Seattle's loaded now. And I think Seattle was already loaded. And I think the fact of the matter is that the Seahawks, they didn't have to make any moves. They just didn't. And I don't agree that they have to solidify the interior of that offensive line. I think it would be great. I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but I don't think they have to do anything. This team ranks in the top 5 in pressure allowed. They rank in the top 10 in overall offensive line pass block rate. So I just don't see it as this must have. And like, what are you pointing at? Well, they need to run the ball better. I think the better way to get the run game going is to do exactly what they did, which is add a receiver that's going to force teams to not be able to play super loaded boxes against the run. And now I think you're going to see the run game start to creep up more and more. Getting a veteran guard, I think would be great. If you can do it, do it. But I think this is a clever way to not only help the pass game, but to help the run game and help the offensive line. So, I don't think it's as desperate as everybody else. I think people forget what it was like to watch J.R. Sweezy try to pass block. I think they forget what it was like to watch James Carpenter pass block at guard during 2013, during a Super Bowl year. There were some very, very rough reps. and Sweezy especially. And you make do. Like you're not necessarily going to have 5 great quality linemen all the time. It's just not how it works. Last year, the Seahawks had essentially one good offensive lineman, Charles Cross. Abe Lucas was out most of the year. You had Bradford and Christian Haynes rotating at right guard, and eventually it was Satawa Lamea, who currently isn't even on a practice squad roster, as far as I know. He was on the Saints, but they let him go. You had Connor Williams retire, and then Olu Oluwatimi play center, and he was fine, but I don't know that he was a difference maker, and he lost a competition to Jalen Sundell. And at left guard, you had Laken Tomlinson. That was untenable. You were not going to win with that group. Now you've got Charles Cross, Gray Zabel, Abe Lucas, who are pretty much undoubtedly 3 good offensive linemen. Jalen Sundell has had a bad game and has not really separated himself, but I think he's been okay. He's not been a Joey Hunt who is getting knocked over by powerful offensive linemen every other snap, and you can't get things done. Anthony Bradford has had the lowest lows of this group. There's no question. His bad reps look really, really bad. He also, if you watch a full game, a lot of the stuff is like, okay, it's not great. It's okay. So I just feel like the Seahawks do not have this emergency need that some believe that they do. And I don't think it's easy to find a quality guard, even if you wanted to make that move. But we'll see. We'll see. We've got 2 more minutes until the trade deadline. And, sometimes the trades come out after the deadline. But in general, I think my guess is the Seahawks are probably done. And if they aren't done, I wouldn't be surprised if the trade they made is one to trade a player away versus adding a player. And that's a storyline here too. If the Seahawks don't trade anyone away, you're talking about Boye Mafe, Kenneth Walker, Riq Woolen, Kobe Bryant. Let me look, make sure I'm not missing anybody here. At least those guys due to become free agents. So let me take a quick look here and make sure I'm getting the right group. Boye Mafe, Ken Walker, Josh Jobe is actually set to be a free agent, which is an interesting one. Kobe Bryant, Riq Woolen. Those are the ones that be UFAs. Derek Young. And now Rashid Shaheed. So I think there's a real chance that you're talking about. Oh, interesting. Sorry. I'll come back to the free agent comment in a second. There is another deal, not for the Seahawks. The Saints are trading offensive lineman Trevor Penning to the Chargers. So what's interesting about that one is that's a guy that the Seahawks coaching staff knows. John Benton coached Trevor Penning. Some people thought that he might be someone that the Seahawks try to target to plug in at guard. This guy's been a disaster pretty much everywhere he's played. And the fact that the Seahawks didn't make that move, I think, is pretty telling. We'll find out what the compensation is. He has played tackle, but he was unplayable at tackle. They've moved him into guard, so they've been trying him at guard. With the Chargers losing Joe Alt for the year, maybe they're going to try him back at tackle, which I think would be an awful idea, but who knows? Maybe. Sorry, I'm just penning a tweet here. Seahawks offensive coaching staff knows Penning, so you can assume they would have added him if they thought he could help. Instead, he goes to the Chargers. All right. So there's one. It is now officially 1:01 p.m. Pacific time. Trade deadline has passed. The way this works is that teams they don't have to announce the deals by 1, but they have to have the paperwork into the league office by this time. So there could be some trades that are still getting processed that we hear about later, but we will find out. So let me just complete my thought before that I was making about the free agency. Seahawks are in a situation where they could have a lot of free agents leaving. Some of them kind of valuable, right? With some of the guys I was talking about. And if that's the case, you could be getting a number of comp picks for 2027. One of the things that's also worth noting is the 2026 draft is not looking very good. The 2027 draft, however, is looking pretty interesting. So this could be a move by John Schneider to say, you know what? We don't like what we're seeing in this upcoming draft. We're going to trade some guys. We're going to trade away some picks for this draft because we don't value them that much. Day 3 picks at that. And then we're going to put ourselves in a position to not be super active in free agency and let a lot of guys walk and get big deals and take the comp picks. Like maybe the Seahawks will end up with a 3rd and a couple of 4th round comp picks for 2027. And that's not nothing for a draft that is expected to be much deeper. If the Seahawks do not trade Riq Woolen or Boye Mafe as the 2 most likely to be on the move, I'm okay with it. I really am. I don't want them to trade Riq Woolen. Personally, I would like them to find a way for him to play so well that they sign him and he's part of this for years to come. You just don't get guys with his talent level ever. They don't exist. They just don't exist. Yes, he's had some very frustrating situations, but he's also really, really good. When compared to a lot of guys, he is really, really good. So I hope that this is the start of a great rest of the year for him. And worst case scenario, he balls out, the Seahawks still don't sign him, and the Seahawks get a 3rd round comp pick in exchange for him in 2027. It's not ideal, but my guess is they probably could not get that kind of compensation for him right now. And so they hold on and they have a guy that's hopefully going to help them win a Super Bowl. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Otherwise, I'm not seeing a lot of other news come down the pike. Seemed like that was the big one. I see Stacey Rost asking the important questions like, is mayonnaise a sauce? That is why she's a must follow. Love you, Stacey. Let's see. Looking through some other tweets here. Yeah. Nothing that's getting my attention. So as we kind of recap this, important note here, 49ers do not add an edge rusher as far as I can tell. Albert Breer just tweeted out, the Dolphins are done for the day. Jalen Phillips is dealt, but Bradley Chubb, Matthew Judon, and Minkah Fitzpatrick remain on the roster. Jalen Waddle remains on the roster. It sounds there was some report that the Seahawks checked in on Jalen Waddle, but ended up going with Rashid Shaheed instead. Personally, Waddle would cost more, and I like Rashid Shaheed on an expiring contract for day 3 picks in an offense that he's played in before. And he's a good guy. Like, all that checks for me. Like, no notes on that. So the 49ers, their trade deadline is really Keon White, who I think is a really good addition for them and is going to help them. But their pass rush is going to be a mess, man. I don't see how that's going to be enough. Like, maybe it'll be enough for them to probably win 11 games with their schedule. But I don't know. I don't think it's enough for them to be a true playoff threat. The Rams get Roger McCreary. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. I always say that wrong. Roger McCreary. I got it right. He's a nickelback. We don't know yet how he's going to be utilized. He's a good player, good addition for the Rams. But I don't think he is like a huge game changer. And then the Seahawks get Rashid Shaheed. I think Rashid Shaheed is the biggest win of the group. So, I think the Seahawks already were arguably the best team in the division, certainly in the conversation with the Rams. I think the Seahawks improved themselves more than any of the other teams in the division. And other things that are of note here, it looks like no Trey Hendrickson trade, no Max Crosby trade, no Myles Garrett trade. So the big, huge news for sure, the Colts getting Sauce Gardner is shocking. The Cowboys getting Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson. What are they doing? That is not, they're still crappy. They're not good enough. They're not going to be an interesting team. That is weird to me. I think that's just another example that they don't understand where they are as a franchise. But sure, I mean, Quinnen Williams is definitely up there as far as a really big prize. And then from there, I mean, Seahawks getting Rashid Shaheed, maybe the best team in the NFL, getting maybe the best offensive weapon that was added. Trying to think of all the trades that have been made. Let's go through NFL trade. Okay. Let's do this. All right, trade deadline tracker. Yeah, I don't think the Eagles added Jalen Phillips. So that's of note. They also added John Mechie, who, whatever, and Michael Carter. So they made a number of moves, but not sure it's huge. The Ravens added Draymond Jones. The Browns didn't trade any of their offensive linemen. So once again, no guards get moved other than unless you think Trevor Penning's a guard. Yeah, the Colts get Sauce Gardner. The Jaguars get Jacoby Myers. Maybe if you think Jacoby Myers is better than Rashid Shaheed, but I'm more excited about Rashid Shaheed's fit than I would have been about Jacoby Myers. The Rams add Roger McCreary, as you said. Cowboys with Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams. The Bears added Joe Tryon Shoyinka, edge rusher. 49ers add Keon White. That's it. So, yeah, as far as weapons, I feel like the Seahawks added the best player in that regard in the division. I'm doing a quick refresh, make sure I'm not missing any other moves that are coming down late. The Dolphins were asking for a first round pick and more for Jalen Waddle. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. As far as I can see, that is the end of the trade deadline. And let me do one thing for you guys. I did this before, but let me go through this and give you a history of Seahawks trade deadline moves, okay? And I think pay attention to how many of these have worked out for the Seahawks under John Schneider. All right. So last year, they traded for Roy Robertson Harris. That was a pretty good move. They traded for Ernest Jones. Good move. In 2023, they traded for Leonard Williams. Good move. In 2020, they traded for Carlos Dunlap. That also worked out relatively well. It certainly wasn't a bad move. 2019, they traded for Quandre Diggs. 2017, they traded for Dwayne Brown, left tackle. Also a good move. 2014, well, this is probably the worst of them, but they traded Percy Harvin and got back a 6th-round pick. So, yeah, not great, but it was offload, just an offload. 2013, no moves. 2011, they traded Aaron Curry for 2 picks. One of them turned into J.R. Sweezy, and the other turned into Tharold Simon. Good move. 2010, they traded for Marshawn Lynch, and they traded Deion Branch to New England for a 4th-round pick that became KJ Wright. So if you're scoring along with me, the only move in there that's not great was trading away Percy Harvin for a 6th-round pick, but that was, just selling low on a player that you didn't want. In general, when John Schneider has made a trade at this time of year to add somebody to the team, it's been a good move. So I think the Rashid Shaheed move is going to add to that list of good moves. All right. So I think that will get us toward the end here. I think there's some more super chats. Let me make sure I check these out, so I don't want to leave people hanging. And we got one here from OEL. So Rashid is going to be purely a half-year rental then after all. Damn, would have been nice to keep him for years. I think probably, but you never know. And the Seahawks have an option. They can choose to do what they want. They'll have the cap space. It's just a matter of whether they want to spend it there. And we'll see how this all works out. Michael Jeffries has become a YouTube member. Welcome to the crew, Michael. And then Ian Groff says Sauce versus JSN. Can't wait. Yeah, that's going to be coming up in a few weeks when the Colts come to town to face the Seahawks. So we will see what that looks like. Certainly going to be a pretty cool experience to watch some really great games over the next few weeks. And by the way, after the Seahawks play the Rams, we'll be going to Nashville, and we're doing something really cool. We will be taking over a VIP lounge in Nashville. We'll be doing a live show there with the whole Real Hawk Talk crew, myself, Evan, Dana, Nathan, Jeff, Josh, Derek, like everybody's going to be there. We'll do a show during the session. Plus, we will be hanging out with all of you, taking pictures. You can get tickets by checking out the QR code up above me or the link in the description of the video. There's only going to be about 50 spots available, and some of them are already gone because I know people have been buying the tickets. There's at least a chance that our friend Matt Hasselback will join us as he lives down there, but not promising that at all. But it would be fun if that happens. So get them while you can. Tickets will go quickly, and I want to make sure we get as many people there. Talk about a great year to go on a road trip and watch the Seahawks. Now is the time to do it. This is the best road team in the NFL over the last couple of years. A historically good road team. So come watch your Seahawks go over there in Indianapolis. All right. That will do it, man. We've had like 30,000 people tune in for this over the course of this show, which is amazing. Thank you for tuning in. I did not expect to be live for 3 hours today. Thank you guys for hanging out while I gave myself a little bit of a break. And I'm going to go take a nap because I got Seahawks Collective tonight at 5 with Annabelle Hasselback, Michael Sean Dugar, Rob Staten, and myself. So make sure you tune in to that at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, I am Brian Nemhauser. This has been another emergency pod edition of Hawk Blogger Mornings. Take care, everybody.